Well, welcome back and Happy New Year, although maybe not so much in Victoria, where long-suffering taxpayers will be forced to suffer even more after the state government increased prices for tolls, inner-city parking, and then they added a 7.5% holiday home tax that takes effect from today. To discuss all of this, let's bring in today's panel, Mark Nicholson from Stepmate Studios and the Daily Telegraph's Tim Blair. Mark, it's not a very happy start to New Year for Victorians. They're just getting hit from every side.
You're dead on, James, mate. It's what a sobering way to start the new year, eh? Like a lot of people clinked their glasses last night, hoping that 2025 was going to bring a little bit of relief. We've had a bit of a heavy spending period. They woke up this morning, checked their bank accounts with one eye open, and went, "Geez, the state's got $180 billion worth of debt, and we've got to claw it back somehow." So the state government's just going to collect and claw it back however they can, and all of it's going to hurt the innocent people here in the People's Republic of Victoria. Once again, it's one of my favourite sayings. It's socialism's all well and good until you run out of everyone's money, and that's exactly what's happened here in the People's Republic of Victoria. It's very sad.
Ain't that the truth? And of course, Tim, I mean, it's worse than you can imagine, because not only are Victorians being hit with all of these extra costs, they're also paying to not host the Commonwealth Games.
Yes, but, look on the bright side of things, guys. Like, everyone's being, typical Sky News always being negative about, socialist idiots. But, if you look on the bright side, look at what the Victorian taxpayers are not paying to host. The Le Mans 24-hour race. Sudoku championships. They're not paying to not host those, so count your blessings. Also, I would advise people in Melbourne, if at the hub of this horror state, get the hell out of there. I live like 4 hours away from Melbourne. We've just got rid of parking in my town out here, parking fees rather. So while they're introducing them in the cities, out here we're living like free people. Yeah. Great. But I'm not going to give away the precise location because I want it all to myself.
Yeah.
For a second, Tim, I thought I was interviewing Jim Chalmers. You're so optimistic and seeing the bright side of life on everything. And I want to talk about Jim Chalmers for a second, because his financial record is not great, and now he's being slammed by Liberal powerhouses John Howard, Peter Costello. They've both come out and lashed Labor for their chronic economic mismanagement. John Howard has warned that the nation's deteriorating budget means there may be no immediate risk to our credit rating, but eventually there will be. And meanwhile, Peter Costello has described Treasury as an institution in decline that no longer defends taxpayers against extravagantly spending governments. But of course, as I said, Tim, you've got Jim Chalmers out there telling Australians it's time for optimism. You can look forward to a sunny 2025. Do you trust Chalmers, or are you more inclined to believe, John Howard and Peter Costello?
Well, you can do both. You can trust Chalmers that, we'll have a nice, positive, wonderful, uplifting 2025 if the Albanese government is voted out sometime this year. So, yes, a tick there. But also, obviously, Costello and Howard not only built a great economy while they were in power, but now have the entirely justified right to look back on it and assess the greatness of that period relative to what we have now. I'd also argue that, the people who were online back during the Howard years, all the lefties rather, who were online during the Howard years, who were all complaining, every one of those guys is now a property millionaire at least. So, they all complained about Howard, but they cashed in hugely at the same time.
Yeah. Mark, are you buying Jim Chalmers' encouragement for optimism? Do people really listen to that, or do people, as I expect, they go to the supermarket, they scan their groceries, they look at the receipt, and they're not optimistic at all, no matter what this government is saying?
100%, mate. And look, I think all they can do now is lie and pretend to be optimistic. I think that's all that they've got left, because the numbers just they don't stand by what they're lying about anymore. It's absolutely absurd, like you said. And as you accurately pointed out as well, is that Jim Chalmers, in that announcement just before Christmas, that sneaky little announcement just before Christmas, was smugly smiling as he's delivering horrible news, like budget blowouts of like $23 billion. This surplus that they had a massive head wobble about for so long was completely gone, and he's going to be gone for the next 10 years. I actually think the majority of people now, their economic IQ and their fiscal intelligence is way higher. 5 years ago, I didn't know what the word inflation meant. Now I can kind of explain it on very basic terms, and I think most people are like that. They're understanding what's going on. They're taking interest because it's hurting them so much. It's going to come back to bite them in the bum, this. They can't keep lying to people's faces because we know better now, and they think we're stupid, but we're seeing the effects of it. We're understanding these really big principles much better now. We didn't understand them back in the Howard era. And really, that was the last time I had any trust in a government. And these guys have completely eroded it today. But I think it's going to come back to bite them in the bum. They think we're stupid, but I don't think we are anymore.
Yeah, the problem, Mark, is we all now know what inflation is. I just wish Jim Chalmers knew what inflation was. We're 4 months out from Easter, and we're 4 months out from Easter, right? So we're a week since Christmas. And it's the first day of the year, but guess what Woolies and Coles shoppers have already spotted? And I know you'll be able to guess this. Hot cross buns are on shelves already. So a week after Christmas, Easter is already being marketed to us. Tim, is this just commercial realities, or should we just be given a bit of a break? Because, I mean, if it's Easter already in January, it kind of loses its meaning, doesn't it?
Well, hang on. We've got to look at this from another side, perhaps. Are these hot cross buns too early, or are they just really late? Are they hanging around on the shelves now since last March? And I mean, we could build emergency public housing with these things potentially if they've been aged for 8 months. But I think we've got to look at it as a late arrival instead of punishingly early, because I mean, sooner or later, if they keep getting earlier, they're going to overlap. It's going to be, we're going to be getting them before the next Easter, after the one coming up. So it's going to be very confusing by fans of the rabbit and his chocolate friends, isn't it?